can be. And then it started coming across my feed, everything he told me. From the elk in the mushroom to the proboscis monkey in the mushroom to the psilocybins that lights up the dark cave as fluorescence, right? And I was like, damn, I didn't know none of that stuff before psilocybin told me. And then he like, and then he asked me, he's like, you know why I like the name psilocybin? I was like, no. He said, because it sounds like silly ass Cyrus. I'm like, I'm over here dying laughing, Rich, because he's giving me all of this stuff. But when I start really knowing that it was some real spill is when my regular feed started showing me everything he told me on the trip. Right? Man. That means that whatever the psilocybin, because he said you can access the information of the psilocybin network. It's the same as the neural network if you have the love for the mushroom, the psilocybin. And one of my favorite things on my pizza is mushrooms. Always have been. I can eat a mushroom pizza with nothing but mushroom, cheese, and sauce. Right? So I always like
But man, Rob, welcome back to the platform, Rob. Welcome back.
Good to be here, Rich. Good to be here. Today we talk about paper genocide, right?
Yeah. So what? All right. So I wasn't even gonna have this show tonight, family. Originally my intentions was to have another show, but I ended up calling Rod Hayes earlier about something personal. I wanted to ask Rod a question. I was doing ancestry. I was digging up my ancestry, looking up some. I think my sister had looked something up on ancestry.com.
No Jews ever wrote that, but why do they all live practicing everything in the book? Don't tell me you ain't got nothing to do with it when it's describing your entire modus operandi from the time you came until the time your ass about to get kicked out. The next generation elder, this next generation now, all I had to do was get them to think and know who they was and show them where our elders already been telling us and tie it all together. What Malachi taught, what Bobby Hemmett taught, what Elijah Muhammad taught, what Clans 13X taught, what Yahweh ben Yahweh taught. Why Yahweh ben Yahweh doctrine as a Hebrew Israelite is different from Ben Ami doctrine as a Hebrew Israelite.
Go ahead.
Right? And both of them doctrines is different from the nation of Israel. They got all these different doctrines supposed to be the same thing, just like the church, denominations.
Right.
Because everybody got a piece, but nobody got the whole puzzle.
Right.
And they all gonna hold a piece back until somebody come along, and then they gonna slide that piece to him and say, see if this piece fit.
Right.
Right? So the hardest part of the puzzle to figure out was the black hand. The mystery of the black hand, the unseen hand, the hidden hand, was the niggas that Yakub left in charge of his grafted devil. Right? That's the biggest part of it. Elijah got the biggest piece of the pie to give you. But that discipline of them FOI, don't no nigga want that discipline. These niggas are scared of discipline. If you try to give them some FOI style discipline in one of these other groups, they not going to be able to function. They going to panic. Right? Why they going to panic? Because now somebody teaching you to stand on your own, be ready to defend yourself at all times, but also how to be courteous to other people. They don't want that. They want to be derelicts, degenerates, victims. This is why the slave narrative is so hard for our minds to break, because as long as we see ourselves as a victim, we're going to keep getting victimized.
Right.
Everybody pushing that slave narrative, wherever y'all see them niggas that y'all need to throw a rock at them.
Right.
Hit them with a rotten egg. The slave narrative is only to take your prisoner of war status and turn you into a permanent victim instead of you realizing we ain't never stopped fighting in 500 years. How the hell you think we were slaves? We ain't never been no slave, because the narrative they give you tell you that the children of the women of a slave woman is a slave, no matter who her father is. Right? So that means that once you a slave, always a slave, you can't break free. And as long as you can't break free, they got you mentally entrapped. You looking for reparations instead of birthright.
Right.
I don't want no reparations. I want birthright.
Go ahead. Talk to him, Rod. Talk
I was born to be the motherfucking high chief of Turtle Island.
Go ahead.
On the leadership rulership line. I was not born to be a peasant. I wasn't born to be somebody begging that master table for some crumbs when he got my cake up there that he eating off of. No, flip this motherfucker over.
Go ahead.
Flip the table over. If I can't eat my own food, you can't have none either. And until we get out that slave mentality, them telling us we were slaves. This is why what's my man name, bro?
Ducateers?
It's the book. I can't remember the name of the book. If I remember the name of the book, the name of the author. But When We Were Kings, the name of the book, I believe it's the name of it. Right? Why would it even tell you when you was kings and then turn around and push a slave narrative? You can't be a king and a slave at the same time. You one or the other. You can be a prisoner of war and still be a king. You could be a prisoner of war and still be a general. You could be a prisoner of war and still be the prince, heir to the throne. You can be a prisoner of war and be every high-ranked official you ever seen, but you cannot be a slave and be any of that.
Go ahead.
A slave is a permanent servant status derived from Yugoslavians usurped by Moors. The Yugoslavians was the ones that we became known as slave. Slave is a Slav, and a Slav is from Yugoslavia.
Go ahead.
This is where they got their royal harems from, that they produce your Khazarians. Your Khazarians is a mulatto hybrid race. They a mixture of dirty Moors and European pale-faced Slavics.
Go ahead.
They love their sons that came from them because they carried themselves a little bit different than regular Moors, and they didn't act nothing like the Slavs they came from. So they gave them the banker rights. The banker ain't got no hereditary royal rights. He just got you can count my money, son. I'm going to give you an important job. I'm going to let you count my money. And if you count money long enough, you're going to understand how money works.
Go ahead.
It's a book called Modern Money Mechanics. For all y'all say I don't got no references. Modern Money Mechanics was written by the Federal Reserve to tell them how the fractional reserve system was going to drain your pockets.
Gang.
Right? So once they got them, this is why they fighting in Israel, to keep them from fighting in Ukraine. Ukraine is Khazaria. These niggas don't read history, so they don't know that the war in what we call in the Middle East on the Gaza Strip is to keep everybody out of Ukraine.
Hey, now I got since you paused right there, I got another question for you.
Come on with it.
Cause this one right here, heavy duty, man. So on my research on studying the land, Mississippi come up a lot, man, as some kind of significant spot. Like Chicago is significant, but like Larry Hoover, Jeff Ford, the King David Boxtel, all these guys that went up to Chicago, they come out of Mississippi. And
because the old Mississippians is the last line of defense.
Go ahead. Could you go in on that? Why Mississippi is important? And go ahead.
Yeah, the Mississippian Clans, which a whole bunch of us, a sub-tribe is Chickasaw. Those are sub-tribes of Mississippian. The Mississippian is the same as your Aztec, Olmec, Incas, and Mayas. We used to encompass the Fertile Crescent of the Americas after the meteor struck and formed the Gulf. That's how it became the Fertile Crescent. Just like it really wasn't no meteor, it really was a bomb. Just like the one that created the Mediterranean was a bomb.
Go ahead.
But they want to tell us it was meteors, and the people want to fall for the meteor story. So we gonna say it's a meteor, but it didn't change the fact that we was there when the meteor hit.
Right. Go ahead.
Okay. And the remnants of the remaining civilization went into South America, came into North America because they was displaced in the land. What we know as St. Bernard Parish was called a shelf. That means it was a piece of land with a whole bunch of water under it. So when they start bombing, they could sink St. Bernard Parish by putting a hole between the main land and the parish where it'll sink under the water. So they did it. Don't believe me? Go look up St. Bernard Parish. It's right there. They got churches there. How is it a church there if it's been sunk for thousands of years and wasn't no churches over here?
Right. Go ahead.
There were no churches over here until they started converting our cathedrals into churches.
Go ahead.
The cross is not a cross. The cross is a sword and a stone. Where that story come from, Elder? King Arthur's Knights of the Round Table.
He can pull the sword out the stone.
Right. All that is what made him worthy to pull the sword out the stone.
I can't remember. That's been so long.
His blood right.
Yeah. Birthright, yeah.
So when you go back to the blood right, and then you understand the bloodlines of a holy grail, what is he talking about? These are the offspring of Jesus. Jesus is Isis, 12 daughters. They all women. It's going to be a woman that's going to bring it all around full circle. Right? It's two women that was the big mamas of the land. One of them crossed over, so that left one remaining heir. The big mama off the Red House was Empress Verdiasi. Now we got to go to the East Coast Blue House. We had to go to Empress Redbird, the next in line. Right? And the heritable rights come through the woman. The land you can't sell land. All this old taxing on your property bullshit. That's all fraud. That's all fraud. They're not supposed to be able to take your land. Once Big Mama give you a plot of land, the only people can take it is your brother, your sister, or your children. Can't nobody else take it from you.
Go ahead.
But when you don't know your birthright, when you don't know your bloodline, you don't got to have no paperwork to know who you is. You got to know who you is more important than the paperwork.
Go ahead.
Because now it's going to light a fire under you, root chakra, that's going to rise up to find your crown chakra, right? And then you're going to speak up, throat chakra, and tell these people the truth, heart chakra. And it's going to hit them in a emotional context, your third chakra, right? And then they're going to tell it to their offspring, second chakra. Come on, man. It's all in alignment.
Go ahead.
It's all in alignment. The earth got chakras and we got chakras. And when our chakras talk to the earth chakras, we making some shit move.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now where we at, the average Joe that thought he was from Africa is starting to realize, wait a minute, that story don't even make no effing sense.
Go ahead.
It don't make sense. They got millions of people over here. They said they killed us off. They killed us off on paper. They didn't kill us off in truth.
Paper genocide. Go ahead. Walter
right.
In the game.
And Andrew Jackson. Yep. Don't leave his punk ass out. Yep. Then you remember, King George set up Georgia to be a buffer zone between the Spanish Armada fighting in Florida and the French Huguenots fighting in New Orleans. Because when we was fighting both sides. They got to cut us off from each other.
It is deep. Go ahead.
Georgia was never meant to be a state. It was supposed to be a buffer zone because when the real servants that they brought over here with them was escaping. Can you pull up the picture of the
it's probably gonna mess my computer up since I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of files on my computer. I didn't get a chance to slide them to this hard drive. So I'll pull
it up just to show you. Okay. But look, they keep telling us that the nappy hair person in the Gullah Wars was the runaway. He wasn't the runaway slave.
Nah.
The runaway slave was the Mongolian.
Yeah, they call it the Seminole. So if he a runaway, he a Seminole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got another 5 question for you after this one too. After we get off this question, because I got about, man, it's a game that's going on that I'm seeing over here, especially about them letting people come over to this country and be born over here, and then they get more privileges than the original earth, the original land, like the original people that's over here. You know what I'm saying? Like I noticed, like, it's a lot of foreigners that own a lot of stuff over here, like businesses, like houses, rent houses, and all that. And they over here, and they come over here and they get a leg up. They get a leg up starting out. They come over here and buy a house, cash. How's that happening when how's Nubians still struggling the way we struggling as a whole, when all these foreigners are coming over here and they just come right up over here, get a 10, 20,000 from the bank? Is that part of the plot against? Is that part of a plot against us?
Yeah,
to let everybody else get on but us?
They trying to overrun the land with foreigners so that we become the minority, but they can't never do it, because what end up happening is anybody that get a drop of blood, now they become one of us.
Go ahead. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. They got the
trying to find this particular book about the Seminole Wars, Gullah Wars. You got a brother and a so-called Native Americans standing side by side.
Go ahead.
And they telling us that the brother was the runaway. He wasn't a runaway slave. He wasn't the one that
they got that on the cover of the book called The Black Indians. You've seen it. That book I got a book called The Black Indians, and they got a brother on the front, and then they got one of those, the brothers are Asian, because here
you go right here.
The Black Indians, right? The cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that book.
Now, the person that don't know history, I think that when they talking about the runaway slave, they talking about that dude.
Yeah.
But this was the runaway slave. That's who they brought when they came as servants.
Right.
Right. Them the ones that they set up schools to teach them how to mimic us.
Right.
Man, that's the biggest. Them the ones that they switched us out with in the Trail of Tears. That's why they all on reservations.
And in fact, the dude that's on that cover, Rod, he the chief. He's a chief of the Chickasaw. The dude that's on that cover, he's a chief of the Chickasaw tribe.
Mm-hmm. You talking about the brother with the suit on?
Yeah, he a chief of the Chickasaw tribe. The dude that they got on that cover.
Right. So, like I be telling people, they telling us they brought us from Africa. We ran away, and we were so hard to catch because we knew the land too well. How you gonna come from Africa and know America better than the motherfucker that been living here, keeping people in bondage for the last 80, 90, 100 years?
Go ahead.
That don't even make sense. And then they running away at like 12 and 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And they knowing how to navigate the land. Ain't no foreigner gonna know at 12, 13 years old gonna know how to navigate the land like that. I'm sorry, but it's not gonna happen. This is so much that goes into the fairy tales that they give us as history. You got to remember, the victors write the history. I didn't make that quote up.
Right.
If the victor is writing the history, what version of history is he gonna tell the people he's trying to oppress?
Right.
He gonna make them proud of their oppressor, proud of whatever governmental format they set up. Right? That's called patriarchal pride, or what they call patriotism.
Go ahead.
They want to take you from your motherland, tie you to a fatherland that's a foreigner.
Go ahead.
The fatherland don't determine heritable birthright land ownership. Where we get all the land from? Why are we the largest heritable landowners at the turn of the century of the 1900s?
Right.
And we brought from Africa. That don't even match.
Yeah. And how all these brothers got doctor's degrees back when people a lot of these brothers had doctor's degrees back when people were supposed to be slaves, and there wasn't no Nubian schools. That's what they telling us all this. But how these brothers got doctor's degrees? How's there a brother like Frederick Douglass during time like up high in the government like that? And they said that the Nubians were slaves. They don't, like, the storyline do not make sense. It's like a lot of stuff they saying don't make sense. And also, Rod, how they gonna bring that many slaves on the boat over here, and that the boats wasn't even, you know, the whole construct of you got to take 6 months to get over here. Where you get water from? If the water is salt water, like, it's a lot of stuff that just don't make sense.
Yeah, well, that's we know that it take 2 weeks to get from Europe. It take to get to the mainland United States. It take 2 weeks to get from Europe. It take 90 days to get from Northwest Africa over here. So you do the math. 2 weeks from Europe, 90 days Northwest Africa. Where these motherfuckers come from? When you look at it, Elder, they fighting all of these wars for these hundreds of years. They got prisoners of war that they putting into bondage. The prisoners of war that they putting into bondage is not coming from Africa.
Go ahead.
They pale-faced Europeans, hairy Europeans, which is the children of what we call the Enkiduites. Then they got Mongolians they fighting with. They got Huns. It's a book called Leadership Secrets of Attila the Hun, where he talk about doing student exchange with the Romans. You know, the Romans became the Romanovs. We don't know nothing about them people. Wasn't no Romanovs over here.
Go ahead.
Wasn't no Etruscans over here. Wasn't no Christians or Muslims or Jews over here. Hebrews were. We was already here building pyramids as the Great Atlan for eons.
That's my
eons.
For you too.
You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, we get sacked. We fight a war, and the victors rewrite the history. Winston Churchill said, "The truth is so valuable, it must be carefully guarded by a ring of lies." What is they lying about? Everything. Well, that's at the center that they're trying to cover up. If you don't know who you is, you forfeit your birthright. You can only lose your birthright by surrender, which is forfeiture, right? Or the acquiescence at a defeat. You just don't wake up and your birthright gone. It's a process to take your birthright. Right. But as long as one person fighting with a heritable right to the land, and the fight is not always physical. See, we can think that the only way to fight for what's ours is to blow shit up, tear shit up, because that's how they came over here, blowing shit up, tearing shit up. The knowledge is king. In other words, the king is the one with the knowledge to tell you about the birthright.
Right. The
pretender to the throne is the heir. Right? The heir is Heru, seeking to become Usir. Horus is trying to become Osiris. The son is trying to come to the reign as the father.
Go ahead.
You know, none of it worked without the permission of Offset.
Go ahead.
Right? So what do you got to do? You got to wake the people up. You got to master knock, guerrilla knock. Right? When you can't get it done, you call for the next in the line of descent. The next in the line behind Tupac, go back to the movie Black Panther. Who was the only one that T'Challa could allow to take the throne? The Gorilla King. Right? That's because it's an order. And the order is played out as the holy drama. We reenact that BS on the ground, but we don't be knowing what we doing because we doing it autonomically. It's a subconscious resonance of the mind of the royal families to put everything back in order. The job of the misfit is to try to keep us from finding the proper order. When you get all of the kings have been displaced, you come in, you send your priest first. Why you send your priest first? That's called the soft sell. Priests don't get the job done. Now you got to send in a group of generals.
Go ahead.
The general don't get the job done. He got to bring you in the princes, the children of the father, the sons. When they don't get the job done, they got to call on daddy, the king.
Go ahead.
When the king don't get the job done, he called on the emperor. That's what made Haile Selassie have any value to us whatsoever.
Go ahead.
Because the king's got to call for the emperor. The emperor can't get the job done. Now he got to start calling on the gods.
Right.
This is how you conjure up them people that you can't stop. They don't stop. They just keep re-strategizing until they win. That's it. The gods don't play by the rules of man. They play by universal law. They don't play by your book law.
Right.
Your book law is contract law. That's the lowest form of law. Right? Contract law is designed to usurp your rulership. And we all push this uniform commercial code contract law in ad infinitum, and it's an illusion.
Go ahead.
The rightful heir don't need no paperwork.
Now, my word is bond. The word is
that's
bond.
it. Husia, authoritative utterance, exceptional insight.
Yeah.
Them people in DC sitting in them secret chambers know exactly who I am.
Go ahead.
Them niggas in them lodges, they know exactly who I am. They shocked because they didn't think it was real.
That's gonna be my next question. We going that way. That about the lodge and the Masons. We going that way.
Yeah, right. So they all know who we are. They've been following us from birth.
Yeah.
I used to couldn't figure out why I can't get. I'm on the run from the police. I know they know where I'm at. I'm like, why these niggas ain't coming?
Right.
It's the process. They gotta allow you enough room or enough rope to hang yourself.
Yeah. They can't do it unless you make a deal with them. You make a deal with them, they can come get you. See, look, that's why
they can come get you without the deal, but you have to trip and fall. You have to slip up.
Yeah.
You have to repeat. You have to repeat a mistake that you should have learned from.
That's right.
As long as you ain't repeating the mistake that you should have learned from, they can't touch you. It's a game of knowledge. And only the wise know how to play it. A damn fool will never figure it out.
Right. This is my next question for you, man. Because this always put my, like, I know a whole bunch of Masons, you know, and my granddad, everybody, man, like, I'm trying to figure out, like I don't see what a Black Masons is a part of what's going down. I don't see what, like, I think they blind to it. They just, I don't think they fully, totally, I can't say aware. I don't know the Black Masons, where I say like the Prince of Halls and the other, like all the John E. Jones, all the Black lodges. I don't think they completely aware. I mean, they aware of it, of what, because some they know what happened to us. But why would they go around walking around and knowing what happened to us, that we got our birthrights took, and then they won't say nothing, even if you made the oath, like after a certain point. Like, you know, you down with it. We got to say we're gonna have to get on them too. We're gonna have to get at them too, because you know what was going down, and you walking around and you just acting like you don't want to say nothing. So we're gonna have to do you too. You know what I'm saying? All right,
let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
When two heavyweight fighters get in the ring to fight, how come the boxing commission don't get in the ring and fight on one of their side?
Because they get paid off both of them. You know what I'm saying?
The boxing commission's job is to watch the fight. They ain't supposed to participate.
Go ahead.
This fight is between fez-wearing Moors from Europe and feather-wearing chiefs from this land. It don't got nothing to do with them. We operative. They speculative. Everybody that goes to the lodge in Brotherhood, they speculative Masons. They don't have no keys.
Go ahead.
All their keys is broke, so they can't open no doors.
Go ahead.
Right? Now, if by chance an operative Mason stroll in there, all of them is in a panic, because we ain't supposed to go in the lodges.
Go ahead.
And they get into a panic. They got a scene from one of these movies. I think it was American Gods, where a birthright brother came in and sat down all of the pale faces that was the ones that was supposed to be running the show, because now the birthright elder then stepped in the building. Right. The reason that's important is because the only way that one of the chiefs or one of the dirty Moors that came over here to usurpers, we got to meet in the street. We got to meet in the street. We got to have a discussion. The lower the environment, the more valuable the discussion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And once the discussion is had, it's about who better know who we are, you or me.
Right.
Right. And when the ones that don't know surrender, then that's how you knock them for their fans or they knock you for your feathers.
Go ahead. Watch me.
Once this is done, because remember, the whole thing is to be master of masters, a self-raised master. You can't have no degrees.
Right.
You disqualified from the fight if you went through this because you are an educated fool.
Right.
But if you are educated, but you ain't nobody's fool, you ain't been to nobody's shoe to be put into this hellfire.
Go ahead.
Right? So what do? All of the rightful heirs that go through university, they got the pledge. They go Kappa, Omega, Sigma,
Yep.
Theta.
Q-Dog.
Why do they use Greek alphabets?
Go ahead.
They use Greek alphabets because that's matriarchy. So as long as you don't know it's matriarchy, you think they're taking Greek culture. The Greek culture was given to them by Egypt.
Go ahead. It's a number system.
Mm-hmm. So it's a beta number system, an alpha beta system.
Yeah.
So all of the ones that pledge as a fraternal brother is a beta. That means he's a second. He ain't a first.
Go ahead.
Right? But then the ones who get blessed into the street organization, because some of us got blessed in at birth.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got what's called first right to the earth right, to reclaim the throne for Big Mama, put her back on her seat, so that we can all be living back like we was in Atlantis.